All right, we're here with Lily, and Lily does not like this. Lily, let's see if she'll see. So you see how she moves away from it. And her guardians have kind of grabbed her, not in a bad way, but I mean, just and kind of forced her to endure it. And that creates a little bit of a break in trust. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to show you how we can create what we call a conditioned emotional response. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the thing that she's reactive to away from her. And what I'm going to do is I want her, and I'm just going to flash it. She looks at it, and I toss a treat. And I remove the object. Now I'm waiting for... So she doesn't even have to touch it. All she has to do is look at it. And sometimes I'll switch hands so she never knows which hand it's coming from. Now I'm tearing these in little pieces because she's a little girl. Now you want to do this about 8 to 10 treats. And again, removing it away so she's only seeing it for a fraction of a second. And it's not going on her, so she doesn't have a negative association with it. Oh, that one, that's a freebie. See, I even screw up from time to time. Now the next step is I'm going to ask her to approach it. She doesn't have to touch it. She just wants to move close to it. Now she's going to let her get all these. Then there we go. Now she's coincidentally going down. She's not looking at it. So there she moved away. So that means we need more. So we're going to go boom. Sometimes it's helpful if you put it on the floor. There we go. And the object goes away. And the object goes away. Lily. So it was very subtle, but she moved her nose closer to it. And then she got a reward for that. So again, we're breaking this into small steps and helping her practice one step at a time without the sensation of the brush touching. Boom. So now she's approaching it on her own. Again, I always want the dog to do the work. I'll kind of move her over here next time. Let's get better camera presence, Lily. We'll move you off to the side. She's like, I'm going to get every crumb of these treats. They're delicious. Chicken liver. So the idea is we're going very slow and she's not having the association of the brush touching her. So we're building up a positive association with her. And if you do that and she moves away like that, then take it away. Then you might just do a flash and she looks at it and gets the treat. So we back up. I'm probably not going to be able to go as far as I would like, which would be to actually be brushing her. But you have to deprogram her of it because every time it comes out, she thinks that means I'm going to get the brush and I don't like the sensation of the brush. And usually they're holding me down and then they're forcing me to do it. And because I don't want to do it, I'm being held, I resent it a little bit more. Let's see if we can get a touch with your nose. Oh, that wasn't a touch, but that was close enough. So what we want to do, and I'll just go ahead and kind of summarize since this is going to take a little practice because we've done a lot of snatching and so that's kind of broken her trust. So basically we're just going to do this with about 5 to 10 treats. And again, just the first couple times I'm going about faster than the guardian should do. So all I want to do is just hold it up. She looks at it, drop a treat, and then take it away. And then switch it this way, look up here, drop a treat, take it away. And so you're going to keep on doing that for about 5 to 7 treats. Do that about 2 or 3 times a day. Eventually you'll hold it out like this and you'll do and she'll do what she just did. I don't know if you saw that, but she approached it on her own. Lily. Now if she just sees it and she gets startled, she'll run away from it because she's used to being spooked by it and being tricked. So that's why all I have to do is look at it, I get the treat, look at it, get the treat. Eventually I just have to take one step towards it and then I drop the treat. Then eventually I have to touch it with my nose and I get the treat. Now the next step is I would maybe hold a treat here. Can you grab me a couple treats out of there? And I'll show you the next step that I would do. We'll see because this is going to be a little, and we don't want to push it too far. So if you start doing this and she freaks out, let her run away. We want her to understand that this is not something I'm going to force you to do anymore. I'm taking one of these treats. They have a flat side on two sides. What I'm going to do, well, I can't drop those down because you're going to try to grab them. All right. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to smash it so it's now like a pancake. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let her start nibbling on it. Now, I did this earlier in the session to set it up. When you do this, what I'm doing is controlling it so she can't get it in one big bite. She's got to nibble on it a bunch of little bites. There we go. So we do one without any stimulus. Now I'm going to do the next one.
Oh, she'll find it.
She'll find that one later. Lily, oh, she went over to the brush and she's touching the brush. Already being paid off. All right, Lily, come here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it here. I'll let her start chewing on it, and I'm just going to move it just towards her a little bit. So now she's not retracting because she's getting this. She's more interested in getting this treat, and I've earned some trust by not touching her with it. And each time I can go a little bit further. Now I'm touching her a little bit. And you see that if she starts to move away, that means we need to practice a little bit more. All right, this last one, what we're going to do is see if we can get a little bit of action on the back. Now I'm turning it backwards, so I'm going to actually rub her back with the back side, not with the brush side. So I'm going to smash it first and get her used to it. And so this, I'm going too fast, and this is for a video. It would be better footage if we could do it. But you see, so now I'm going just parallel to her. And see that she's leaning far forward, so she's saying she's uncomfortable. What I would do is, this is her head, and I would take it eventually. I'd be holding it here, and then if her back is here, I'm going to rub it along her back. At first, I might just touch her back, and then take it away, and then touch it, and then maybe go just a little bit more, and a little bit more, and eventually you're rubbing it on her whole back, and she's comfortable with it, and she is not recoiling. The next step, and leaving it on the floor and dropping treats around it can also be helpful because you're not handling it, so she gets a little bit more trust with it. So I pick it up and put it down. So you see, she's much more interested. Before, if you pulled this thing out, I mean, the guardian said as soon as I pulled it out of the drawer, they're like, watch, she's going to run away. Now she picked it up.
Well, she likes to chew on the handle.
Okay, I could see that she's done that. Okay, so maybe it's kind of like my nemesis. I will destroy you. But basically, the fact that now she's not running away, we built up, well, she does there a little bit. So that just is a reminder we're going to need to practice this a little bit more. But if you take our time and practice this maybe 2 or 3 times a day, and don't just do it right here. Do it here, do it there, do it in the kitchen, do it in the bedroom. Dogs don't generalize. They need to do things in different locations in order to figure that out. But eventually, you'll pull this out, and she'll run over to it because now it's a positive. That means the treats are going to be set loose. And then by going a little bit further, and then brushing her, eventually doing her whole back while she's chewing on the treat, but it's easy. And then when I go to this point, I would do, and this is several settings, I would just maybe touch and take away. Touch while she's chewing on the treat. And if she backs away, then we back up to the next step when we go back to this one. Always back up a step anytime the dog can't figure it out until eventually the dog feels comfortable and is confident and trusts you. And then eventually you can get a little bit of one, and just a little bit more, and eventually you'll be doing the whole thing. I do this with dogs that need to get their Dremels, their nails trimmed. After a while, the dog's puts its paws out there. It's like, give me a mani-pedi. Oh, Lily. Puppy. Well, we got stimulus outside. So that's actually a good, important tip. When we're doing this, if she approaches this and there's a bang outside, that can actually foil this for her. So make sure, but make sure we're only doing this when we know the environment is not going to have any surprises, because that association could actually be a negative. So now she investigated and walked away. And so by going slow, eventually she'll be comfortable with this, and eventually you'll be able to do, so that touched her back. And she's comfortable, and we're not using a treat, but we built up the trust earlier and nothing bad happened. So this is how you can use positive reinforcement to create what we call a conditioned emotional response, or a CER.